I almost can't believe it because I always see myself as an outsider to things, and this is, I still see myself as an outsider, and yet the insiders have decided that I got this reward, and I sort of can't believe that. But I appreciate it, and I do appreciate it because it's in a way, I guess it's correct because the product that I happen to come up with has a phenomenal market and phenomenal market penetration and is copied all over the world. And it's not just that I built them, but everyone built their version of what I came up with. And it was a unique innovator, and it had an impact.
A prolific inventor and founder of Maguire Products Incorporated, Steve Maguire has, since his entry into the plastics industry in 1970, transformed plastics raw material handling technology, as well as how processors control the preparation and consumption of plastic materials. Best known as the inventor of the Maguire waste scale blender, Steve has single-handedly developed the basic concepts, system designs, and manufacturing methods for new forms of auxiliary equipment, including the first liquid color pump, shuttle granulator, mini central vacuum system, gravimetric color and additive feeder, just to name a few. His pragmatic approach, his ability to rethink current processing systems and technologies has led to the successful design and introduction of these and other products, as well as the awarding of over 41 patents. Maguire Products, which he founded to commercialize his inventions, has become one of the leading global suppliers of plastics auxiliary equipment. Steve Maguire was nominated by Frank Cavanaugh of Maguire Products Incorporated. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Maguire.
This is really great. You know, Frank nominated me. He never asked me. He never told me. I got the phone call that I was going to be here tonight. I still didn't know he had nominated me. When I told him about it, he said, well, he was the one that nominated me, and he wasn't really that sure that I would thank him. I mean, I had to wear a tux. That was enough. Normally blue jeans all day. But I do thank him. But more important, I want to thank the members of the committee who voted for me. It was, and it still is, a very humbling experience. I never saw it coming. You know, there were two reasons I started this business, and I started it in my house by myself, third floor, had a big attic room. I wanted to be my own boss. You know, I have a couple of things I want to say about that. It's like really admitting that you have a problem with authority. But you know, when you're your own boss, you can make all the mistakes you want and nobody says anything. You can have a whole product line fail, and it'll cost a lot of money, and nobody says anything. So that's really a benefit to be your own boss. And of course, the company grew from one person to, I have about 100 employees now. And they still don't say anything if I do something wrong. The other reason is I love to design stuff, mechanical stuff. I love to figure out mechanical solutions to puzzles, mechanical puzzles. And if I can spot a puzzle that hasn't been solved, I'll sometimes think about that for 3 or 4 months before I suddenly dawns on me the way to do it. And the waste scale blender was one of those. I mean, I thought about it for a year until suddenly a light bulb went off and I discovered that. The very first product I sold was a peristaltic pump. And that was where I figured out that if you used urethane tubing in a peristaltic pump, it actually lasted 6 months. And prior to that, it didn't really work. And So that was the first product. And so I loved to design stuff. I wanted to be my own boss. So that's why I started the business, just myself. And that would be fine. It was very small until the blender came along, and then the blender sold like crazy and took the business to $30 million. And all we could do was try to keep up. There's one more thing I want to tell you, and it's not really about me. Well, it is a little bit. It's a bit of movie trivia that most people don't know, although it's knowable. You can Google this after later tonight to see that I'm not making this up. You recall the '67 movie The Graduate, starring Dustin Hoffman, and that very famous line we all know, one word, plastics. Even people who are not in the plastics industry know that line. Near the start of the movie, there is a cocktail party when Ben, the graduate, played by Dustin Hoffman, is led to a side room by a guest, a gentleman a good deal older than him. The guest turns to Ben and says, "Ben, I just want to say one word to you. Just one word. Are you listening? Plastics. There's a great future in plastics." Enough said. Well, here's the trivia. The name of that gentleman in the movie that gave our industry that famous line, his name, are you listening? His name was Mr. Maguire. Enough said. Thank you very much.